Damaris, we can't, you are muted.
Sorry. I was trying to leverage on something here. Yes, thanks for that, Mathangani. I was trying to set something in order here with my other colleague here who is somehow becoming troublesome.
It's a weekend. You have an assistant whom you have to take instructions.
Who is not assisting me? Putting me in more trouble. So yes, clearly is about the intention or intentionality on what we want to achieve with whatever in this context of MBA that we want to achieve. And therefore, I think that's where now, after we have achieved it and we have gotten this, we have graduated with these papers, then we are finding it difficult because we didn't quite align that, and think we've put it so clearly on that issue. So I would have loved to ask the participants here what was their purpose or the interest, and whether they are serving, they feel they still have the capacity, or the MBA they have is still going to make them to achieve the goal they have. And probably because we have Brian here, we can just quickly hear his view on where he finds the issue with MBA. Brian, if you could just share a bit.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Brian Atuchi. I recently graduated from Kenyatta University with MBA in Strategic Management, and also done my undergraduate from the same institution on 2016. And now this MBA, for me, I thought that it can able to expand doors to have more opportunities to work, maybe as a tutorial fellow, to get a job in HR mostly, because I've worked mostly in interns. But now my MBA did not open doors the way I expected. So I found myself working the job that I did not do in MBA, because currently I'm working as an agent with the Summer Source in DC. So to me, the MBA, now unpacking it, to me, definitely I can't understand the process, because in terms of applying the jobs, I do mostly apply the job, but mostly you find out that overqualified to some extent. Also, maybe I have a lot of years of experience. Maybe I don't know what definitely do the recruiters see in terms of recruiting MBA students, because it's so rare to find a job, even to be invited to the interview. Yeah, that's for my case.
Okay. Brilliant. And I think you speak for many people, Mathangani, what's your take on that before I move to the next question? We need to tell us more about this issue.
All right, okay, yes, Brian speaks for a lot of other people. And I'm happy that for those who have come, because the first thing is to embrace the truth and the reality. So we don't hide ourselves and maybe just moan or complain. So first of all, maybe let us look at what is the scenario of the MBA currently in Kenya.
Okay.
According to some research, which was done a while ago, by the Institute of Policy and Research, and also through other sometimes some organizations just conduct research when they're doing their articles. About 20 years ago, MBAs were the in thing in Kenya. And before that, the number of graduates in MBA, you could count them almost on your fingers of your hands and your toes across Kenya. Maybe you used to graduate about 20, 25, 30. We're talking of around maybe 90s where you'd find out about maybe on about 50. You can imagine a whole population of about maybe 24 million. And currently, we are talking of one university boasting of about 3,000 MBAs. So where are these people going? Where are these people going to be employed? And then what are the jobs available for the MBAs? So that is the first reality. Who is doing an MBA? How many MBAs are coming out? Which are the subjects of the MBAs the people are doing out? And why did they do the MBA? Coming back to the issue that Brian has said, I have this qualification, an MBA, or maybe even another postgraduate, but I'm not having the job. So we still go back. When I did it, what was my main objective? The main problem we have in Kenya is that most people are doing the MBA for a job. Now, if you do an MBA because you want to get a job, that presents some challenges. Because if you're doing it for a job, then you must ask yourself, which job is it that I'm looking for, I am aiming at? And unless you have clearly identified the job, but more specifically, the career, then what you'll find is that you'll be searching for job opportunities which may not necessarily need an MBA. And my challenge to all people who are doing an MBA is to actually scan the job sites, the newspapers, everywhere jobs are posted, and check how many jobs require an MBA, which sector are they in, and are you targeting that sector? That just gives you an indication of where you should be putting your MBA job search. So, and that is the challenge. Yes, you have this big qualification, but the opportunities that are available could be there. The other challenge is some of us are doing the MBA maybe too early. What does that mean? There are those who are doing it too early and those who are doing it too late. Too early is you finish college, you're 23, 24 years old. You already do an MBA, then you go out to look for a job. Now, how many jobs, because you'll be at an entry point, require an MBA? And that is the first obstacle we face. The other one is too late. You have worked for 25 years, you are 45 years, you go and do a postgraduate degree in a subject which is totally unrelated to what you have been doing, and then you go start looking for a job because you did an MBA, for example, in human resources, and you want to go and become a human resources manager. What is the challenge? Somebody started working 25 years ago, has 25 years experience, and has even only an undergraduate degree, has a wealth of experience. You definitely cannot compete with that person. So the timing of the MBA is very, very critical. The area that you want to get into is also very critical. So that is the immediate challenge that we find ourselves in. And this does not only apply to MBA, but also to other type of qualifications.
Yeah. So in other words, what you're saying is we need to have a good reason for our MBA, right?
Yes, very good reason. And maybe I can expound on that at this stage. When we check, we recruit for people And when we check what are the areas that people have done, there seems to be a disconnect. We have done the degree, and I'm saying, by the way, it's okay. It's an excellent thing to advance your education, but just be focused. So if all of us are doing a degree in, for example, I'll give an example. Somebody does something like environmental health. You're working in an institution and you've already done a master's in that. If the institution does not have opportunities for you to apply that, because health, when you do masters in science, most of it will involve a lot of research, definitely. Project work, that's what it will involve. And project with all the things that come with the project, planning, execution, monitoring, evaluation, and all that. If it does not involve that, policy making, if you don't have an opportunity to do that, then obviously you feel very frustrated because you will not tell your employer I have a master's, but they tell you, well, there's no position here which we need this qualification at the moment. So you just check, it's only your boss who may be requiring that. Maybe it's only the CEO. Then you obviously find you can't wait for the CEO to retire, or God forbid for him to die and then they advertise, then you are 200 of you applying for the same job. So that connection, this is what we need. You must know why you want to do. And I'm going to explain later why you should do it, what you should be thinking about.
Yes, thanks very much for that. That's so hilarious because it's interesting, can happen. So I don't know whether Jackie, are you there? I would actually love to hear your experience, but I'm also encouraging you and Brian, if you have a question, as Mathangani continues to expand on this, just put it at the chat so I can be able to also pick it and raise it with Mathangani as well. So Jackie, if you have joined us, let me know. So we don't also leave your experience out of the discussion that we're taking. So Mathangani, it's very real to say, it's good to have a reason that is so aligned to your own goal, why you want to undertake a certain, course. And I remember, I know some years back, like you putting MBAs really had their time. And so most of my friends now, we agree that they jumped in because of what I think is popularly known as the FOMO, fear of missing out, because everybody around them was doing an MBA. Then later on, they realized, wow, I actually should have been pursuing something different. But what exactly are the real reasons, or the best reasons in your own expert view? What are the real reasons that could drive someone to doing an MBA?
Okay. Thank you for that. That actually is the most important thing. And one of the things that, as I said, most people tend to do the MBA for a job. Mm-hmm. So step one, you start on the wrong footing, because at a certain level, the MBA does not particularly get you the job unless it is for some, they may require that, but the majority is not for that. So what is the real reason? Is to build your leadership skills. For those who have done a postgraduate, the critical thing that it does, it gives you high technical skills on certain areas. It gives you analytical skills. It gives you the ability to decipher, to decode business issues. With that, it enables you to be able to articulate issues because you're armed with knowledge, you're armed with skills like for what I would call analytical research skills. And with that, you are able to provide a holistic approach to a business issue. And that is how you get recognized, because you think slightly different. A business will listen to you when you come with ideas, proposals, which you can almost demonstrate through your analytical skills, your research skills, your ability to put persuasive, to put evidence, to put what they call empirical data in a proposal. That is one. Then the other thing is to learn business principles. To whatever level. That is why we hear issues like global business, global trade. How many of us sit back and ask, where does this global issue come in where I am? But when you sit back, whatever you're doing today has been affected by a global issue. So as you sit down in your employer's place, do we think outside that and say, what is impacting our business? What are the dynamics? What are the global? But sometimes we throw these words very loosely sometimes, or global trends. So it gives you how to understand business is run. And how business is run, it's not this day-to-day thing that we churn out. The finance person will be able to understand what is affecting their profitability, what is affecting revenue and profitability, what are the risks, what are the growth trends, what business are we, what are our funnels of revenue. They will be able to understand that. The same with the marketer. So you learn the principles of business. Now, that is one. Then the most actually very personalized reasons for doing an MBA, one you can think, is to actually make yourself, to prepare yourself for the future career, not the job. Because with those skills that you have learned in the MBA, you're able to see far, to be ready for changes, to be agile, to be responsive. So it's what you call prepare yourself for the future. An MBA does not jump you day one to a new position. No, it is over a period of time. The other big reason is to discover new and emerging issues. Because in the MBA, there's always something about globalization, you know. And as a paper, maybe we find it very boring. Global trades, international relations, and we are wondering, what is all this? And I'm going to be a marketer, I don't know what, still be the phone, and all that. So again, it's time to look far, discover new areas. For example, how many of us sit back and say, what is the trending thing? Yet, we are very busy, and I say this with a lot of respect and humility to ourselves, going to the internet, and then we see, oh, this has happened. I don't know, somebody is developing this. There's somebody who has developed a concept on this. And he said he started or she started this about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It was part of their project in the postgraduate. This is what I'm talking about. You're discovering those things that you read, that somebody is harnessing something, I don't know, from agribusiness. Somebody is starting to, I don't know, make food from worms, you know, and probably somebody who did a project on that. It's a wealth. So what you are really doing is to start seeing where is the world. So don't look at the current present. The present was done. And I can assure you a lot of things we're enjoying today were actually thought of some are 50 years. I'm sure some of you have heard of the mobile telephone, yeah, when somebody predicted that and somebody just laughed them off. Mm-hmm. That's a reality. Somebody the other day just said we'll be sitting at our houses and wherever it is and be ordering things. So all this, so you're looking far. So it should allow you. So think of it like that. So Brian, as you think what next? What is this I'm an agent of? What might happen in the next 20 years? What might happen in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Have that plan. So an MBA is able to expose you because you really learn a lot of real things. The other thing is you're able to focus on specific area. Most of us will do the MBA and we cannot actually tell where are we, what are we. So I did an MBA as an in entrepreneurship. What is the job I am doing? Or administration manager. Now, how will I translate my entrepreneurial when I'm doing an administrative job? Another one will go into, I did strategic management. Very wonderful topic. The other one I love is operations research. But you still go back to the job, which is almost semi-clerical. So where does your MBA come in? Hardly. But you still want more responsibility or a better job. So what do you become? The head of administration. So what does being a head of administration is a lot of maybe managing multiple tasks. So this is where your operations research might come in. So, and also identify an area, identify a niche in an organization and say, I think that is the area I would like to focus on. Most of us, once you're a manager, once you are whatever it is, we tend to stick to that. But you can say, you know, I did operations research and I have noted, I think department-wide could do with my skills. Why? I want to create efficiency. I want to create processes, efficient process of doing ABCD. Maybe you're working in a factory, in a transport company, in a logistics company, in a banking, whatever in the service industry. So try to identify that niche where you can be able to put yours. So if you went to an MBA, and unfortunately I've not heard of anybody who went to do an MBA to become a business person, very few. They always say, I wanted a job. Now you see, this is where we all get mixed up. Yet you went and did this very nice course. So use it, identify and start acting strategically. That's what I always tell people. If you have got a postgraduate, if you have got an MBA, find one area and focus on that and become. So the other thing is to accelerate your career. And accelerate your career is not getting the next job after the MBA. Because if you're working in a certain organization and the job does not require you to have an MBA, then obviously you'll feel frustrated. But how does that accelerate? Is what I've said previously. Start acting like one, demonstrate, pick one area. Whether you're in a meeting, talk like that. I'll call one person who said, I asked them, what did you learn in your MBA? He said, one thing I learned is I used to go to meetings and people would talk certain terminologies, and I'll just be sitting there. I'm sure most of us have heard of things. Is it called pastel? The other word for, and people would say, let's look at the political environment, let's look at the technology, and you are not able to contribute. So if you have done an MBA, when people are brainstorming, you should be the one to be challenging people because that's what you learned. Challenge, satisfy yourself. So ask questions. So I asked them, so how did it work? He said, you know, I'll just sit there, then I tell somebody, have you heard about the technological impact of that? And then people discuss for 30 minutes. And he said, I used to feel very nice, but before I could not answer such questions. Yeah, because this is what your boss starts talking about. You go to a conference and people are talking very big global issues, I don't know what technology, the latest, and you're just there. So through something, now you're acting strategically. So those are the kind of things. That's how your career gets accelerated. You start getting noticed. So those are the good and main reasons that you should do an MBA for. Among others, I'll be able to explain.
Wow, I like that. Batangani is so, that's so enlightening, let me tell you. Because we know, I mean, I've just said we have had some conversations with people and that's not it. Actually, 90% of the people I know, it was former or Damaris or whoever was doing. So we jumped in, all of us. But I want to pose a question right there. Now, how do the people who just jumped in without necessarily having been intentional, how will they retract? How can they still find a way? Like Brian is still saying he quite hasn't gotten to the place he was hoping. Where is the hope for these people now?
Okay, there is a lot of hope. We just need to change our mindset and our focus. What do I mean by that? Another main reason of doing an MBA, really, an MBA should also provide you with networking. And the issue sometimes with where we are doing our MBA is that we are all the same. So what do I mean by the same? You walk into an MBA class, me and my age mates will be about 10, or maybe 30. The rest who are around in their mid-40s will be at maybe another 20 or 30. The rest, about 60%, we are the same. We are about between 25 and 35 years old, thereabout. What do I mean? So when you are in this MBA class, please identify some people there who probably are in their mid-careers or seniors who are decision makers or influencers. That is one. Become their close buddies professionally.
That's networking.
Yes, that is networking. Because this person is a manager somewhere. He's a senior. Maybe he's an entrepreneur. Okay. So these are the person you should be networking and try to find a way, because he can tell you, oh, I ran ABCD 1 or 2. You can come by, are you working? But now our challenge is we are all working, unfortunately. Most of us are doing MBA. So again, we may not be able to directly, but you can say, since I'm doing finance and accounting, I could be volunteering once a week just to come and help you. There you are. You do that for 16 months, 18 months. There's no way you will not have created a bond. That's just one. So network with the right people. When you're doing your research, make sure you approach certain people, the people you go to do research for. How many of us go back to say, thank you very much for supporting me with the data. Here are my findings. Okay. So the first thing is to, and this is again the challenge I throw, and I say, this is your saving grace. Whatever you researched on, try to implement it somewhere. If it's in your workplace, go to your boss and say, my research paper on MBA was ABCD. I would like to share it with you and whoever is in the department, or just share with somebody. Be intentional about that. So you say, I did operational research, and one of the things I would like to assist with the organization is this. Don't ask for reward or gratification at that point, because they will notice how effective you are becoming. You are becoming a valuable asset, and that's how your career starts. So that is one. The other one is, once you know what you did, again, intentionally, look where you can apply it. If you did something on entrepreneurship, for example, you did something on operations research, you did something on marketing, you did something on financial accounting, where are these skills required? So what do? We see every job and we just apply. I have a master's in ABCD. Now this job, maybe that is not its focus, because they will ask, oh, so what was your area? Oh, actually, I did something about SME management. That time you are employing at APSA. Now you have to find out whether APSA or Equity Bank or whichever other institution has a department that basically deals with SMEs. So if you are very intentional, somebody says, come, we are looking for somebody to develop business proposals for SMEs for us. So be focused. Two, also, as if you are not able to get directly a job, look also for other areas. How many of us think of research? Which organizations are doing research? Those are the people asking for masters, MScs in this and this, PhDs. Yeah. How many of us go to website of, say, Kenya Institute of Policy Research Analysis, KIPRA? Be surprised, maybe they have opportunities, wanted research assistants, wanted, monitoring and evaluation. So start looking at sites where you think I can apply this. Don't always just focus on what we call corporate jobs. The other areas are consultancies. The same thing. How many of us deliberately, don't worry, we are consultants, but I may not be able to employ you. But how many of us said, Masangani, do you have something, maybe when you have a proposal to prepare, I can always support you. Yeah, I'll probably give you, small allowance, or you just come and say, look, anything you want, I'll add it for you. So this is how you start developing now what you call hands-on skills. So look at those opportunities. Don't focus so much in the corporate world. The word corporate is a bit harsh word, okay? But I'm not saying you don't go there. But you see, every time we try to get into the corporate world, again, we focus only on the big 10. The ones, and big 10 are the ones that are always putting up billboards on the roads. There are hundreds and I think thousands of what we call blue chip companies. Those names you hear sometimes, but you never see them here. They are here. Huawei, Siemens, Ericsson, and many others. There are also international startups. Look out for sites that support startups. And you'll be surprised how many startups are coming to Kenya. Global startups. Again, you have to know them. That is, then another thing is, when you're selling yourself, don't sell the MBA. Sell what you can do. Most people, anytime you're having a discussion with somebody or an interviewee, or even just a casual, or I'm having a challenge, most people say, and I have an MBA. Say, wait, let's put aside the MBA, because you're not going to tell KFC about your MBA. You're going to tell them how you can be where you can actually create efficiency, because you have observed how they are serving on the front office. And you'll be surprised one day, just ask for a manager somewhere and say, I've been observing your supermarket and I have some proposal I'd like to make. He will take you upstairs, and you never know. In about 2 months, 3, 6 months, he might just call you back and say, I loved your idea. Sometimes this is how it happens. So look for those opportunities that where you can put. Most of us look at, like, how many of us understand even beyond the cash share desk in a supermarket? How many of us understand what goes on behind? They are supply chain specialists. They are business development, they are operations research, they are people who are always walking around just checking are things moving right, is the process working okay? There are other financial people. There are all sorts of people at the back supporting. And I can assure you, they are not the people you see around there. They're sitting somewhere in an office somewhere. Sometimes they're just walking. So what am I saying? Look at these business opportunities where you can be able. So when you apply for a job as an MBA, emphasize more on your abilities and achievements. I've not seen somebody, I'll be very frank with this, in a CV actually stating, they just write their MBA in ABCD, Master of Science in Informatics. And that's okay, informatics. But when I look down here, I don't see it. So in future, borrow from your paper, from your research, and say capable of developing ABCD or has developed. So start packaging yourself wherever you work to demonstrate how you have used your MBA. Don't even mention it. We have in it. We have seen it in your academic. But if you have to be specific, you can say, did a paper on 1, 2, 3, which was, okay, we know most of them, we don't know where they're implemented. I know we have had stories, they are stolen by the lecturers. Yes, don't worry about that. They can steal and implement everywhere. But always say that I did a paper which was highly rated by my professor, and maybe if it was submitted, please always follow where your paper is going. Don't mind, because most of us, once we finish, we clap, we even burn all the drafts. I don't know how many of us hold this paper dearly and say, this is my research proposal, page 30. I said this. Use it. It's your manual. We are very busy reading other people's books, but you have your own. So please own whatever paper you did and start owning it, acting it, implementing it as far as possible in your day-to-day lives, in wherever you meet somebody, you meet me, say, you know, I did a paper on the importance of ATS recruitment systems. Would you like to know about it? I'll be very happy, because next time I have a big issue, I'll say, I remember Tuti, he told me about this. I think he can help me in this project. That's how I'll get you one as my research associate. Yes, so those are the kind of things that you need to do. So when you apply for the job, at the beginning, demonstrate in your pitching, demonstrate what your capabilities are, what you have done, and what you can do. Then from there, someone find a place for it, please. Don't just say input, writes, prepares. No, use words that reflect the job you're applying. Develops, analyzes, prepares, you know, commits, you know, all this kind of thing. So these are the kind of things. So there's a lot of opportunity, you can do it, but don't focus on and selling the MBA. You can imagine selling an MBA to a medium-sized SME. The person just has a problem, he wants it solved. So ukimwambia nimesoma sana, he wants to see that masomo working down there. And what you just want to know, can you do this for me? I have a problem in what? In stock. Yes. Can you do it? You say, yes. Actually, in your mind, you're saying, but see, that is, I remember paper 10, we were dealing with ABCD. So you go back to your paper and remove it. It becomes easy. So I say sometimes, don't focus so much on the outer world. First of all, try to use what you have learned, because we are also overloading ourselves with information. There are too many how-tos, but they're not telling you, this guy needs to produce his what are they called? The fodder, crops, feeds for animals, okay? Yeah, he has a factory and he's a small multi-million, but you are telling him about MBA, he just wants efficiency. That's what he wants. So use your knowledge.
Wow, wow. Matangani, you're saying very good things. That sounds very strategic, you know. They might just sound a little bit easy, but they make all the difference. I think so, in my own view. So like you started by saying, how many of us, or how many people out there actually have the MBA? So that just tells you, even in the rule or law of demand and supply, just saying the MBA itself may not even actually make you hack it. But we also appreciate we're moving from just acknowledging papers to capacity to execute, or to bring what you're calling the efficiency and effectiveness into the work. And that's where, if I get it right, is where the world is going and the world of work is going. So thanks for that. Brian, I don't know what your thought is. Are you getting an heads up like me? Are you getting some bad moments like me, Brian, if you're there?
Brian has dropped.
Yeah, I think we've dropped Brian. Yes. Jackie, I don't know whether you're there. Jackie, are you there? You can unmute yourself and let us know whether you're there so we don't leave you behind with something you want to learn.
Hi, Damaris.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Hi, Coach.
Hi. We have missed you.
Hi.
You are on, but we didn't know whether you are hearing.
No, I was on, but initially when I joined, there was some technical hitch. I managed to join and something came up, so I was away briefly, but now I'm back.
Okay. I just wanted to pose a question about initially up there on what was your reason for your MBA and whether it's actually working for you so far.
I would say it is working and it is also not working.
Okay.
Yeah, in line with just the expectations and the shifts that have come. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like you're there in between?
I feel somewhat stuck.
Okay. So we are here to find this wisdom of Mr. Mathangani, and he's actually has dropped some stuff that makes a lot of sense up there on how we can actually leverage on our MBAs. I hope you were listening them. And at this point, I just wanted to ask what is the kind of solution or help that you're anticipating the MBA to help you achieve?
Okay, I think the MBA solution provides additional knowledge and skills generally in management and in all areas.
Mm-hmm.
I am in the human resource management, but certainly it provides an overview of other areas that one can plug in, but certainly if maybe that is not the area that one goes, how does this MBA shape my ability to sit around the table and influence decisions or provide insights, looking at trends, looking at data that is speaking within the space that I am in, looking into the future. So basically it's just to future-proof skills for changes in technology and how things are moving.
Beautiful. I think you align a lot with what Mathangani was saying there, being intentional and a little bit strategic on the leadership table. Mathangani, do you feel the same as well?
Yes, it's very important to be intentional. And maybe before I respond, I know Brian is back. You were also posing the same question to him. Maybe he can just also respond, then we can have.
Yeah, you can answer them together. Brian, you're back.
Yes, I'm back. Some technical issue with the network, I think. Yeah,
No worries.
I've learned a lot from Mathangani, and one thing that I've learned so far is that about the mindset and the focus, and what is the really objective of doing an MBA. And not only can I able to focus on corporate, but I can go to other fields like research, and also there are startup companies. That has also opened my mind on what I am supposed to expect. And also, like now, I don't know, also I'm doing a big mistake. I've registered for my PhD in the same field. You see, when you are not in your career, that you are not under the career that you learned in undergraduate, which is HR, and you are not in a career that you learned in postgraduate, which is MBA in strategic management. Now I want to do a PhD. Is it advisable a person to go ahead because you are not under this field, or do you just do but having the focus that I'm able to gain this and this, or you just cement on your line in this MBA and just focus. And also apply to my next question is that should you avoid mentioning MBA when applying certain jobs that suit you, that do not give additional requirements for an MBA? Because most of the jobs that I apply is that they need an MBA. They don't need an MBA. They just need a degree. They just need a diploma. But when a recruiter sees an MBA, he sees this person does not fit on my requirements. So I'm able to understand from that perspective. And thanks a lot for opening our eyes to see the future, what we can able to do with our MBA and what we can do with our own career. Not only in corporate, but also we can become consultants, what it takes to be one. Yeah, all that. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks very much for sharing and being so open with the scenarios you are having. And I think Brian is talking about very valid concerns, experience. That's not just about him, but I also concur. I've had people experiencing the same. Mathangani probably could wrap up this with those two questions from Brian.
Let me just summarize. If I got him right, there are two issues he's raising. One is a question of when he asked whether he should follow. He has done a graduate in HR, a postgraduate in HR, and now he is doing a PhD.
Yes, and the MBA is already registered for a PhD.
And the MBA was in strategic management.
Yes. So he's wondering whether that's a good step is taken or is adding more trouble to himself. Yes, and secondly, is wondering whether when he's applying for opportunities that don't necessarily mention they need the MBA, whether he really needs to write it or mention that he has one.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me start with the. And I think I'll be responding also to Jackie. In terms of the expectations, I'm not saying, I said don't lower your expectation, but it is what are those expectations? So if you went ahead and, for example, left school and you did an MBA, and therefore by age 27, for example, or 30, you have an MBA and you have not even worked, then the first question to be asking is which job will be requiring an MBA at entry point? They are there, but they are few. Because most corporates prefer to train. So you come in, you have to get into their system. Then when you get the MBA, is you're getting into managerial roles. However, there are some jobs that may require an MBA or a postgraduate. Then you have to know which are these jobs. And that is why you should have been your focus and say, I'm doing this MBA in strategic operations, logistics, procurement, in whatever area. And since now we are competing so much, now the MBA is no longer having a core of procurement. Now we already have procurement degrees and they have got postgraduate degrees. So if you're going to major in procurement and logistics in your MBA, would you have been better doing the MSc in procurement and logistics? So this is the problem that we are having in terms of our postgraduates. Too many things mix, so you have to be intentional. If I do this, where? But the MBA basically has only one role, to build your leadership skills and your managerial skills. That is it. The other more technical postgraduates, they build your technical skills, because if you do like procurement, you do entrepreneurship, you do operations research, these are things that really focus. And there are so many MSCs in so many things, MSc in finance, and then you are wondering what is the difference between MBA and then I do finance and accounting. So which job should I be asking for? Should I be asking for a general management position or a financial risk? There's so many areas. Like how many of us talk about capital markets and go to their site and ask, what jobs are they advertising? So they will either be asking for MBA in finance and accounting, in risk management, in all these things. So back to my good friend, Brian. Now, if the job does not ask for an MBA, don't emphasize your MBA in your application, because obviously they didn't ask for it. But of course, you can't leave it out altogether, because you might be concealing and you might be thought to be not forthright. So it's always good, you can show it there. But chances are they will view it as, oh, we didn't ask for this. We have so many people who have the first degree we asked for. So it can be a positive or negative, but don't fear to put it. But focus now in jobs that actually are not, are asking for the MBA, look for them. Then just check what is the level. Experience, unfortunately, is an elephant we are not going to get out of our rooms. So always bear that in mind. So again, when they ask for the MBA, chances are they will not be asking for experience of less than 5 years in the same job. So the first thing is to get yourself into any job, get that experience, and make sure you are acting very strategically. What I mean is strategically, just show that I'm slightly better off. Don't show off, but anytime you're having contributions, sound knowledgeable. Okay, yes, sound different. And this is how a lot of organizations, they just observe people in a meeting. Are you the comfortable type? When you're presenting, do you have a higher level of confidence? Do you have a higher esteem? Do you demonstrate certain aptitudes? And all that. That's how we are picked. And I said, yeah, so-and-so looks to be able to get the best out of the team. So-and-so is very good at making papers. I can trust so-and-so by providing me a very good paper with good information. So don't leave it out. So we come to the next situation. Now, again, you go and have the MBA. So now, you have go and have the PhD. Now the PhD leaves only one job. No, sorry, two. Academia, research. So if you're not intentional into academia or research, you're probably getting very, very frustrated. Because again, you'll be applying for this job at age 35, and now we're having very young people with PhD. And then they will be saying, you must have taught at least for 2 years or 3 years at undergraduate level. So this is the time when you get your undergraduate, when you get your PhD, you must either start now being intentional and say, I'm going to apply for research jobs. Yeah, it's R&D, wherever it is, whether it is in corporates, and very few corporates who ask for a PhD, but there are those which need it because it is part of their job. So if you are working into the developmental organizations, they will probably ask for your PhD. Okay, and those are the research guys. So which is the area you have? And by the way, by the time you get to the backyard of Microsoft to be in their research, yes, you must have done a lot of things around in between, or they just take you straight from college. So again, you ask, is it good to do in the same subject? What I have seen with a lot of people, including people who are close to me, is that somebody does the undergraduates, they did it in, for example, Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and Government, a good one. The next thing, somebody tells them, you know, social work is now coming out very important. So they go and do a Master's of Arts in social work. Then after that, they told, no, planning. Yeah, project management is in. So they go to Jomo Kenyatta and they register for project. Now they have 3 degrees. Now, who are they? Okay. So you do your MBA, you can add one more. An MBA, that's what it is. It's Master of Business Administration. So the other one If you are going to project management and many, many others, there are so many degrees these days. Just know, when I apply for this, am I going to social work or am I going to business? Now, these are two different lives. Somebody in project management better have done a master's in project management, which was in the MBA, but it's a subject. So you can still get that into project management. But now you have added this. So who are you? What are you? When you introduce yourself, I'm a business administration person and a project manager and also a social worker. So where do you belong? So it may be good to focus on one area. So for Brian, if you're doing your PhD, if you're doing it in HR, what is your intention? If you do a PhD now in international development, then you will either forget about your HR because then you'll be looking for jobs in international development or such subjects, or in finance or in accounting. But the MBA will still be coming strong because it gave you the business acumen. But now the job you'll go to will be research. So it will be a very structured job. So it's good to be consistent so that you develop it. That's why you find somebody has done a Bachelor of Economics in 1, 2, 3. Then after that, he also did a PhD in economics. However, our system here is like the British one. People tend to progressively do one postgraduate following each other with a lot of theory. The American one, the MBA, even here the MBA is open to a lot of people. But what you find is a lot of people who are in management are the ones who are doing business. The few who are in technical areas like engineering come to do, and I love them because they come with one thing: I want to learn how to manage business. And you can check the few in your class who tells you, I'm a doctor. You ask them, what are you doing here? They tell you, I just want to know how to run business because I want to establish a practice. The engineer will say, it's because I run an engineering firm. I want to eventually, the QS. These are the people who seem very intentional, but for the majority of us, it's for a job. And that's how we get lost. So I would advise, if you're doing that, be very intentional what you want to be. Otherwise, again, we'll just be having these three. I know I met somebody, I can share what they have, no names. They have a degree in what is it called? Zoology, botany and zoology. From there, they thought this is not good enough. Let me go do one in statistics. Now they did a very complicated degree. Very, very complicated. From there, they decided, now I want to get in project management. I asked them, why did you do project? You know, I can use my statistics in project management. Okay, that is wonderful. And now they're thinking of registering for another one, MBA. I say, so what do you want to do? 2 million, and we don't know where we want to be. So be consistent. Follow one line, but MBA is just a mindset opener. So you did your postgraduate, you had a graduate in one subject, you may want to follow. If you have found another passion, follow that. But be intentional. Too many may confuse you. And you see, this is what is happening in Kenya. Every parent, including some of us, even, mtoto akimaliza shule, there is no work. Go back to school. At 26, he has a postgraduate. Oh yeah, now I have more money, let me send him to England. England is 3 years, 2 years with a master's. It takes only 14 months. Okay, so by 16 months, they have graduated. So they come back 3 degrees. They only sat, never worked. Our environment, like I said, we say, wacha tuchukue yule wa kwanza kule, we bring them up. So you're saying here, you're competing with this bank teller who has been a bank teller for 2 years. And you say, yeah, this is how we start you at Equity or Barclays or ABSA, whatever it is. And you say, for 30,000 shillings, na hii masomo yote, you disappear. My advice is, weigh yourself, do it for 2 years, seek another opportunity.
I like what I'm hearing, Matangani. So the bottom line is about being strategic and intentional on what you what you're looking for at the end of the day. Whether it's, and I think that's where we make the choice, where we want to just be homogeneous in our careers, or we would want to venture in some skill transfer courses that can enable us to move to where we want to be. So there you have it, Brian. I don't know whether that helps. I know you still making a decision on that. And Jackie, I think Jackie said it's working for her in terms of the strategic table of leadership and management on how to be able to brainstorm on some issues here and there. That was Jackie's view. So Mathangani, maybe we could just post this to you. Then what's the right time? The timing seems to be a big elephant in the room. What's the best timing for the MBA?
Good question. One, it all depends with, again, your intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we tend to focus a lot of our experiences from the West, and we forget our reality. Even in the West, so MBAs are in demand, but in specific industries. In some industries, they are very clear. They will not recognize your MBA, specifically the MBA, until after some years, because they will take about 5 years to develop you and see whether you fit. You have to get to know. In Kenya, it's very, very tricky. Why? Because you have to get to the job market. How are our jobs structured? Who employs the MBAs? And at what level are they employed? And we have a very high rate of unemployment. So the more we read, the more we are becoming unemployed. So from just what I would call, what you can call from observations in my corporate experience, I find that people who do an MBA in the mid of their careers stand better chances of fulfilling their career dreams. What do I mean by that? If you have worked, for example, for 5 to 10 years, you can start doing your MBA, because 5 years, you have already sort of found a grounding in what you want to do. Then you will know that if the next job I want to go, I need to improve my skills to get into leadership positions. Then that way you can do your MBA at that level. Because now you'll be there almost getting promoted. If I'm not being promoted to a supervisor, but you're saying the next job I need now leadership skills. I'm not mean leadership, it's broad knowledge of business, of management. I'm no longer seated in a cubicle, sorry, in those boxes, workstations. Yeah, I'm a thinker, I'm contributing more. So I would say, and I'm just saying these are very personal choices. Parents have come to me and asked, they tell you, I want to send this child of mine, they're only 23, they're sending him to England to do an MA. I say, okay, when they come back, where are they going to work? Well, I think there'll be work. Say, which work? You have to ask a hard question, which work? Which job have you had? Who is your friend? Whom do they employ? Oh, in the insurance industry, oh, they are employing MBAs. As what? As insurance agents or as actuaries or at a clerical level? Where is it? So they will still go there and they will still feel frustrated because what am I doing? Routine kind of job. So I would say maybe work a little bit after 5 years. Start now, you can, actually at 45 years, you should be able to start thinking about your career. Which direction do I want to be? And when people talk the job, go back and see which MBA, what it will be my core subject. Because you don't go do finance when you're in HR. Again, most of us tend to do what we are in. So HR, we still do HR. Why not go do something else that can open you to better opportunities? So I would say maybe just work a little, about 5 years, maybe you'll be able to get. And that is when you start actually moving to now managerial positions. And any job you apply, probably you'll be saying, I can be able to do 1, 2, 3 things. You're muted.
I'm saying thanks for that input, and it's so real that you go back to knowing why you're doing the MBA. I like the fact that you had. It's good to also have some experience before actually you go to seek knowledge on how to manage business, or to think a little bit globally beyond just a workstation. I don't know what your experience has been, Jackie, on this, or your view would be in timing of MBA, reflecting on your experience.
Thank you, Damaris. When I reflect on my experience and why I did this, basically on two fronts. To increase business acumen and also leadership skills. Having been in management, my desire is also to be able to have a consultancy, and that would be a business that I wish now to progress for the next future. And so this has come in timely in terms of just having the grip to manage business, to manage people, and will also help me to find solutions in consultancy, wherever I'll consult, to find solutions for people, for organizations. It is getting clearer now. I think earlier, because of the space I am in currently, it looked a bit not able to, but the clarity is coming on. And I thank Coach Matangani for the insights that he has shared with us today, and just to also venture in other areas that would increase competencies. And certainly in this next phase, it's the impact that we are looking at, and not just that I can do, but how then can I contribute to add value? Earlier I talked about data that is there. How can this begin to speak? Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, thanks. Thank you. I think this is adding value, Matangani, listening to Jackie. I actually was tempted to ask you, Jackie, now that you're in management, whether you're finding some of these individuals who are just so stuck and not knowing what to do, thinking job, and the solution is papers. Have you had that experience?
I work with a team that is quite agile, and the focus is, the MBA, but the experience is not there. And so I think there's that mismatch in terms of the entry and me wanting to settle, that ability to settle and really understand the role as you grow the career. I find that mismatch, but this now will be able to help me empower the team in terms of how then do they grow their career and what they aspire for the future with a clear roadmap.
Yes.
In gaining or obtaining the skills. Yeah.
Yes. So this is empowering you, just even beyond Jackie, but also empowering you to empower those people as well who are in this career mismatches, which can be very frustrating. Brian, I think you mentioned earlier that you have some challenge with the connectivity, but I see you've joined again. And we were just picking views from Jackie, and I wanted also to come from, back to you on your views about the timing and the mismatch people experience on MBA. Your view on that?
Yeah, there are a lot of mismatch in terms of people doing an MBA. Yeah, for example, I came to find out people who have studied education and a graduate, we find we are together doing MBA. A person is not from a background of management, but you go ahead to do a MBA, let's say strategic management, because if you want to broaden up, you want a wide area of skills. Yeah, and for my end is that yeah, I find it so difficult to able to understand the criteria in which the people use normally in recruitment. When you feel that you are a misfit when applying for jobs, or you feel you're overqualified, or you have a lot of a lot of experience which is not supposed to have when applying. And also I feel that MBA nowadays, they produce a lot of MBAs nowadays, and as Matagan said earlier, that more than 3,000, like one institution are able to produce many MBAs. And you know, the cost of doing MBA is also higher, and everything is going higher. So there's a lot of expectations, a lot of research one's supposed to do in order to focus one area where he wants to fit one's career. Either want to be a consultant like you guys, and also one able to be a career coach and everything, and also one able to be employed to an area that one fits to be fit in at this moment. But remember, when you don't have what it takes, you just want to vent in everything. Maybe you want to try to be a consultant, or it has failed. I want to be in corporate, now it has failed. You only wish now to be everywhere. Not really everywhere, but wherever you set your foot in, you wish that if I can able to step in this, maybe it can lead to my career choice. Maybe I can go there, I get promoted, I get this and this, and at the end of the day, that's how life goes on. Yeah, it gives us a paradox whereby we don't know what we really want. You can't say that I want this. No, you cannot just say that I want to find an area that I can able to start. I want a good career job. I want to have a good job. I want to start this and this. But definitely you just unpack yourself and you find out that whatever comes first. If you just want, you just apply randomly and everywhere. And to me, that's one of mismatch that I ever found.
So maybe somebody's here.
Natangani, okay, sorry. Take it up, Brian.
Yeah, that's one of the mismatch that I found. And also, there's something I wanted to put it across about also the job opportunities. Like I had one bad experience of applying for, you see, like when you have done an MBA, you want to focus yourself to be a lecturer, tutorial fellow, research assistant. But when you try to apply and tell them you have an MBA, you have published such and such, maybe they tell you now we need you to have a PhD. Maybe want you to have an experience. But out of nowhere, they won't give you that opportunity because you don't have that experience of venturing to that, unless you have a serious networking. And then you find out you don't have any networking. Maybe networking that you have, they are not into that bigger positions to be able to help you and also to mentor you. Of course, they can mentor you in certain areas, but you feel that we don't have that chain of learning from people. Everybody wants to venture, and you find out that the people who don't want to help people to go further where they have reached. So to me, I feel that's a great mismatch, and also great things that are not going into plant to most graduates, and also most of jobless people that have done MBA, PhD, science, Masters of Science, and also many other things. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you too, Brian. I think you brought a lot, Mafengani. What do you think? You need to put a take here.
Yes, sorry about that experience. And life is about experiences, some pleasant, some unpleasant. The most important is how you take them. So the paradox we are talking about is what you have just explained. You have,
by the way, he's done it so well. That exactly is a paradox.
Yes, you have the qualification, but the opportunities are not there. When you go, then they give you another reason. And it's the same thing that will happen. So you go and add another one. It will take you another 2 years or 3 years. And then when you come back, they will have somebody else who either has been doing it with as an undergraduate, but probably is now having the postgraduate. So obviously, if the person who has been doing a job for 3-5 years and now has got a postgraduate, and you have not done that a job for 5 years, you will definitely, they will consider the other person. So I said, experience is an animal we have to deal with, because if the job does not require that qualification as an entry point, then anytime you try to use it, when you have not had an entry into that job, then you always be the underdog. So it's good to realize the intentionality. I know jobs are not there, but start with whatever job it was that you came out from college with. Whatever it is, it can be a very junior position. So that's why it is very important to appreciate that the MBA is for your career development, not for the job. Because most people with MBAs are already working. They only do it to improve themselves, their opportunities. And in most all places, the MBA becomes relevant at managerial level. Of course, there are those. And that's what I'm saying. Don't be moved by a lot of places where they will say, oh, so-and-so only employs a postgraduates. No, that is them, but they only employ maybe 1,000 people. What about all the other employers who employ 1 million people in Kenya? So what you have described is what now, get out of it and say, it's not my MBA I'm selling, I'm just going to get into a job. That teacher who joins, because we said MBA is general, anybody can do an MBA because it's business. You don't need any qualification to come and do a business degree, so long as you meet the entry requirements of either a first degree or even a higher national diploma. And this is a thing that we all need to appreciate. I like the example of the teacher. That teacher is either placing themselves strategically, because for most principals these days, they require a postgraduate. If you want to be a director of education, something, quality assurance, now this executive position, they will. So what will happen, this teacher has worked for 10, 15 years or whatever, and when the opportunity comes, you say, look, I have an MBA. And you said you wanted a deputy principal. You wanted an assistant director of education. I have it. Now imagine the teacher who left college the other day has gone ahead and done the MBA. Which job in teaching needs an MBA? And like, I'll give the example, the police, the teachers, they all went and did masters in whatever area. Then they came and asked for promotion, and somebody simply asked, I don't need a postgraduate to teach in primary school. I don't need a postgraduate in education or any other to teach in a secondary school. It is not a requirement, even in the TSC guidelines. So They were told, we are sorry, we can't promote you on account of a degree. So that policeman who stops traffic, and I say this because these are our brothers and parents, he doesn't need a postgraduate to become a better traffic officer. But there are positions in the police service which will require that. So if he keeps on applying to be made a sergeant, and he doesn't need a postgraduate, and that's what policemen we have done with them. And everybody had security studies and all that and all that. Now, unless you are working in DCI as an intelligence officer, and they're there, by the way, very specific studies of intelligence and military and all that. So unless you are in that, when you have worked for 5 years or 10, and a policeman joins at 21, don't forget. So at 35 years, he's still a very young person. Now, if he does that and they advertise wanted police inspectors, police intelligence, whatever, and since that is almost internal, they know how they do it. So this is a point that you have made very well. Don't focus so much on that. Start developing your experience, which also gives you skills. And with time, you'll be able to reach that point you say, I can become a lecturer. So for now, those researchers, you just become their assistant. What do you want? Pam, pam, here's so much money for you. Continue. Next time you'll be saying, I have worked at Damaris and Damaris Research Associates as a research assistant. Project 1, 2, 3. So these are the people will start seeing you like that. So they can come, it's okay, we have a space for this. That lecturer job, don't forget there are people who are training them. The University of Nairobi is still training their own lecturers. So the next time you go to JKUAT, you say, I possess a PhD in 1, 2, 3 things, and now I'm applying for this. Now, they may take you at that time, but they will still ask you questions, and don't feel bad about them. Have you taught before? No, I've never taught. Oh, so you just did your PhD? Yes, know that. So be careful about that. 2, maybe to answer that, be very careful these days while you are doing your postgraduate. A number of years ago, and nothing has changed, there are universities in Kenya which are highly rated for their postgraduates. So do your corporate and research around. When you tell somebody, where do you recruit, don't worry whether they are biased or not. It makes no difference. These are human things. If you're in the UK, the minute you say, I come from the London School of Economics, every developmental organization, every research organization gives you, LSE is known for producing the best economists, policymakers, and all that. I'm only giving you one example, typical. Okay, so be careful. Where do you go and do that? So that when you mention, people will listen. Yes, okay, tell us more. Then when you say another name, Madangani and Madangani, they say, here you go. I'm not saying this, it's good. We are opening up and it's wonderful to get universal education. So be careful. If you can, please look for some of those. They may be slightly pricey, but that. So if you go to Stanford, I'm not giving dates. Everybody in the whole world knows Stanford University. It's known for 1, 2, 3 things. I'm not saying don't go. If you can manage to go to Harvard, of course, go MIT, Massachusetts, but don't mind. There are other institutions. So even in Kenya, try to balance where you are doing. And that is one particular university. People say we all go there to sanitize our undergraduates. We want to go to that. So be careful. It's very important where you get it because the name also matters sometimes. So Brian, yes, it is an irony, but there is a paradox. And so it is for us as individuals to really make these intentional things to make the best out of our MBA. Yes, as we close.
Wow. Yes, that's quite a bunch of things for us to reflect on, Mathangani. Thanks for that. And you've said quite a lot today that I'm as well learning as I follow you closely with my questions. as I ask, also I learn. So there you have it, Brian and Jackie. I think it has been quite a good class. That I wouldn't say is an MBA class, but we're learning on how to navigate in this life very well through the wisdom of Mathangani. It's been a great honor to hear your stories and aspirations and what you're actually focusing on to do. But I want also to add that it's a good thing that you came actually on board in this session, because you have the right person who is Mathangani, who can hold your hands very well. As for Jackie, you're looking into moving in or venturing in the future in the world of, consultation or consultant, becoming one of the top consultants. And I like that. You're most welcome. Mathangani has been there for years. He'll tell you how to actually transition from work to becoming a top-notch consultant. And Brian, yes, academia as well as many things you're pursuing. I'm happy that you've learned something, but as you pursue and make the decisions, you can liaise with Mathangani. Will help you actually to streamline a lot of things as you move forward, that you will be able to hit a lot of things within a short time very well. But for me, Damaris, again, I'm in human resources, most of us, actually all of us, right? With a big bias in learning and development. I am with Blue Concepts Africa, ideally help leaders on how to think on how to make their workplaces more productive, build high performance teams to drive their strategies, and also think on how to navigate change, that is leading and managing change. Those are my biggest fortes of expertise in this area of consultancy. But it's been an honor for me to be here and listen and navigate you in this session today. To you, Mathangani, you can give your parting shots and probably close it from there, and hope Jackie and Brian will pick it from there.
Thank you very much. Tamaris, first I'd like to thank the Jackie and Brian for attending. Sorry, we lost about another 4. Through those technical things, they've been trying to log in, but for some reason they were not able, and then one dropped off. So as a parting shot, I say, don't be disappointed. Sometimes we are told we turn our disappointments into, memorable things, into new things, into success. So the most important is now to intentionally start focusing on what you'd like that degree to do for you. Focus more on developing other skills, other competencies, understand your business, identify what you really want to do. Like now, Brian said, you try to go teaching, try to go research. Now you can say, yes, jobs are scarce, but where do I want to really focus on? And say, I think I want to focus more on HR. What area in HR do I want to focus on? If I want, or maybe I want to focus more on research oriented. So what area am I an expert in organizational development? So I'll focus more on OD. And that way, people will start noticing you along that. Then start also looking beyond immediate. Don't look at it as a current job, and do not leverage your current, what you want to get the job you want to get now with your MBA. Get into a job first, and then start making use of the knowledge and skills that you have learned in your MBA. That takes time. It's a progressive career. Start finding niches where you want to focus on, because organizations have so many functionalities, but sometimes we focus only where we are. So I'm in HR, I tend to focus on HR. No, focus on other areas. Business development, what does it involve? Start knowing how the business operates. Are there areas? I always challenge my fellow HR professionals. How many of us have moved from doing one thing to doing something unlike HR? And with that, you eventually will find success. Don't be in a hurry. The MBA is for the future. And what I mean in the future is that within 5 years of your MBA, you should start feeling the effects of possessing an MBA. And most people who do an MBA, I can guarantee you, and when you meet the next person who is a manager, ask them, when did you MBA? They'll tell you maybe after 3-4 years, or it was a requirement in my work. But when did I start putting it in my paper and it moved me? It's after maybe 5 years, it's after 10 years, because now I was looking for a job that was higher, more responsibilities, required an MBA, and I had to put there. And that is why these days, check the positions that require an MBA. They are always on the higher level. I know the public sector now is talking a lot about MBAs, but we know maybe that's not the only focus. That is because almost everybody now there has got a postgraduate. They get better opportunities to be sponsored and all that, but there are no entry points for that. Okay, but after a certain time, they say for you to be a manager, they write there a master's. So that is very critical. For the development agencies, they will want maybe MBAs and postgraduate at a certain level. So once you are focused on that, you are almost assured. So give yourself time. So for me, what I do, I'll be able to hold your hand, guide you. I do run a program, which is actually to support people. And I know some of you have interacted with you. So we have had some discussions maybe in the past. And feel free to come now. Don't get stuck. Move on. Let's unpack. Let's make use of that. As Brian said, an MBA is very expensive. It is, both in time, finances, and resources you require. So make the best of it. The time is now. Finally, before you take the next step, just think very critically. If the first one has not worked, how sure am I this is going to work? And how can I make it work? Otherwise, it will get more frustrating because now you'll be having 3 and you will still be feeling people asking you the same questions that annoy you. So we are here to help you, and I really appreciate your presence. And thank you very much, Damaris, for your very good moderating this.
It's an honor. It's an honor to be here today. Thanks for that, Coach Matangani. So Brian, Jackie, you can just probably say a parting shot as we close this down if you're there.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. We learned a lot today, and thank you so much, Matangani and also Damaris, for taking us through this topic of today. I think let us continue having these kind of sessions that we can able to learn from you guys that have gone ahead of us, and also to share some of the experience that can lead to our career growth. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well.
Yeah. I express my gratitude to you, Damaris, and Coach Matangani, for the insights that you have shared with us. And career is a journey and is also a positive leap of faith. I now have confidence in the programs that you undertake that can help me unpack areas that I feel stuck in. And so that this can propel me to the next level, I will be getting in touch with you so that I can leverage the opportunities for my growth in this space. Thank you so much and have a blessed weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you too. You have a great weekend too. I believe both of you have Mathangani's number, right? Or it means you can actually get to Mathangani. Is that right, Brian?
Yeah, we can get
awesome. Awesome. Then you have a great day.